Mr. Chu here with Brack Geometry. Let's talk about complementary and supplementary angles. So if this video helps you, like it. And then you can also subscribe. There'll be a subscribe button down here in the corner. And then you can watch more of my videos to give you more geometry help. So I want to first talk about the way that I'm going to notate some things because different teachers are different. The measure of angle 1 is written, I put a little M, and then I put a L with an arc in it, 1. That would mean measure angle 1. So, let's define a couple things first of all. Adjacent angles are angles that have a common side and a common vertex. I'll draw a picture of one. So two adjacent angles, there is an angle there. And now I have two adjacent angles because they have a common side right here and a common vertex. Okay? So the next vocab that I need to talk about are complementary angles. Complementary angles are two angles, and remember, I'll just use that symbol for angles, whose sum, and that's when you add up their measures, is 90 degrees. So you're saying, okay, so what would it look like? Well, those two angles added together will be that right angle, 90 degrees. So if this one would be 40 degrees, then this one would have to be 50 degrees. Why? Because 50 plus 40 is 90. Now supplementary angles. What is a supplementary angle? Supplementary angles are two angles whose sum, so we're going to add up their measures now, is 180 degrees. So what would it look like? So let me draw a line here. If this is 75 degrees and this is 180 degrees, then this one would have to be 105 degrees. Why? Because if I take 105 plus 75, I get 180, and that is the definition of supplementary angles. Now, supplementary angles end up making what's called a linear pair. A linear pair has a common side, and then the other sides go in opposite directions to make a line. So a linear pair, I'm just going to say, is 180 degrees. Do you see how that's 180 degrees here? And supplementary angles always make up a linear pair. And complementary angles always make up a right angle because it's 90 degrees. All right, let's look and do a couple examples here, and then I'll have a couple challenge problems for you to try, and then you can figure out if you understand this well enough to go on to your next geometry concept. Remember to like this video if it's helping you. So in example 1, it says angle 1 and angle 2 are complementary. So if they're complementary, I can draw this right angle. And now I can take and see what else we know. Angle 2 is 54 degrees. So I can take this and say that this is angle 2 here. And I'll just put an angle 2 there. And we're saying it is 54 degrees. Now we're trying to find out what the measure of angle 1 is. So right here is angle 1. So the way you do that is you use an equation where I know that if I add these twos up using the angle addition postulate, they're going to equal 90 degrees. So I can say the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 90 degrees. All right, now I can substitute the value I have for 2, 54 degrees. So I can write the measure of angle 1 plus 54 degrees equals 90. This is called the substitution property of equality that you learned in algebra. Now I'm going to solve this using inverse operations. So I subtract 54 from the left, subtract 54 from the right, using the subtraction property of equality. 54 minus 54 is 0, and the measure of angle 1 plus 0 is the measure of angle 1, which is what I want to find here. That's what it said, find the measure of angle 1. And then 90 minus 54 is 36. So I know that this is 36 degrees here. Now how would I check that? You would check it by substituting both values in this equation. So now I'm saying the measure of angle 1 is 36, and the measure of angle 2 is 54, and then I'm saying, does that equal 90, since we said they are complementary? Well, 36 plus 54 is 90. So 90 equals 90 means that I did that correctly. All right, so now let's look at example 2. In example 2, it says that angle 3 and 4 are supplementary, and the measure of angle 3 equals 57 degrees. So I can say this is angle 3 here, and I know that it's 57 degrees. I want to know what the measure of angle 4 is. So this is what I want to find. This is angle 4, and I'm saying, what is the measure of angle 4? So all I do is use the definition and say I know that their sum means when you add them up is 180. So I have the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 4 equals 180 degrees. Now I'm going to use the substitution property of equality. I don't know 4, but I know 3, so we'll put 57 degrees in here. And I just solve for my measure of angle 4. That's the substitution property of equality. Now I'm going to use an inverse operation to subtract 57 from the left and the right, and that operation that you learned in algebra was the subtraction property of equality. 57 minus 57 is 0. 0 plus the measure of angle 4 is measure of angle 4, which equals 123 degrees. So I can say this is 123 degrees. Okay, so the next thing that I do in my videos, and I always do this in an introduction video like this, I offer 2 challenge problems. So here they are. Write them down on a piece of paper, then you can pause my video and then work them out. It'll only take you a minute. See if you understand this. And then when you start the video again, right at the end, there'll be a link up here, which will be all of these worked out, and you can see if you did them right. So, try these 2 problems now. Challenge 1. Measure of angle 1 and 2 are complementary. If the measure of angle 1 is 17 degrees, find the measure of angle 2. So you draw your right angle here, and this angle down here, 17 degrees, and you use an algebra equation to solve for the measure of angle 2. Challenge 2. Angle 3 and angle 4 are supplementary. if the measure of angle 4 equals 98 degrees, find the measure of angle 3. So I draw a linear pair, draw in my angle 4 at 98 degrees, and then use an equation and solve it to find out what that is. Okay, once you have them worked out, pause the video, work them out, then start it again. At the end, there'll be a link up here, and you can make sure that you check your answers. Like this page if it helped you. Subscribe. I'm Mr. Chu, and I want to help you learn geometry. See you next video.